Thank you for joining us for another segment of the Business Wisdom of Ruth. Boy, can you believe we've already completed chapter 1? And chapter 1 was all about Ruth preparing for the process that lied ahead. And now, as we are getting ready to look into chapter 2, this is about Ruth readying herself for action. We go through the process, we prepare, and then we act. Now, no doubt, Ruth remembered that Naomi was still very distressed about the loss that she suffered while in Moab, but Ruth still knew that something had to be done. She couldn't procrastinate, and she certainly couldn't wait for instructions because Naomi was in no position to give her any instructions. So this leads us to our principle number 5 for the day. Now, what Ruth did, knowing those things, was to lead from behind. So let's look at chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. And we're going to begin with verse 1. Now, this verse is very important because it helps us understand the lineage of Naomi's husband. And it also backs up the assertion that we made in principle number 3, that her husband and her family most likely were very prominent. Now, in this verse, we find that there is a person currently in the land of Bethlehem, Judah, that is of great stance or position. Now, that's very important because it sets the stage for what's about to happen. But for now, let's put a pin in that. So now we're in verse 2, and here Ruth is positioning herself to lead from behind. So let's take a look and see how she does it. Ruth has a conversation with Naomi, and she says, paraphrase, "Please let me go into the field and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I might find favor." Now, notice, she's positioning herself to lead from behind. So she's not being aggressive. She's not trying to usurp authority. She's not trying to command Naomi to do anything. In fact, she does the opposite. She speaks very kindly and gently to Naomi and is actually seeking Naomi's approval. And because of the way Ruth presented this to Naomi, Naomi was more than agreeable. In fact, Naomi said, "Yes, my daughter, go." So what is the translation? Being a leader is not about position or title. Being a leader is about your mindset. And an authentic leader can lead from any position, including leading from behind. Now, here's the one thing that you must remember when you talk about leading from behind. You must possess humility. And that was certainly something that Ruth had in dealing with Naomi. If you recall, leaders are not infallible. And sometimes, due to circumstances and situations, they're not able to make rational decisions. And that is when leading from behind comes into play. See, one who leads from behind has the best interest of the organization at heart. I hope you have learned from today's principle, because not everyone can be president and CEO, nor can everyone be the chairperson of the board, nor can they be the executive director. However, if you have the best interests of the organization at heart, along with the proper skills, ability, and training, you can lead from any position, including leading from behind. I look forward to seeing you next week, and thanks again for joining us.